a hit had been placed on Frank's life. And he was informed of that, and that was the final straw.
Carlotta realized that he had become a liability to Spilotro.
I knew right then and there that Tony wasn't on my side. He was out for Tony, and he was throwing me to the wolves.
Carlotta was ready to talk, and he began with his most serious crime.
He admitted that he did murder Lisner. He was able to tell us that he was given the order to murder Lisner by Tony Spilotro.
Spilotro, the Chicago mob's enforcer, had been sent to Vegas to protect their interests. Now the FBI's net was closing, not only on his own criminal activities, but on the mafia's financial lifeblood, the Skim. The Fed's year-long surveillance operation had discovered that a Stardust employee delivered a brown paper bag of cash to mobster Joseph Tallarico on the first Sunday of every month. The FBI had even witnessed Tallarico meeting with Joseph Aiuppa, the Chicago mob's supreme boss.
He was the main man. He was the man.
Aiuppa and his fellow Chicago mob bosses represented the ultimate prize for the FBI. But to prove they were illegally siphoning cash from the Stardust, agents still had to confirm that the cash in the brown paper bag was money that had been gambled on the casino's floor.
We had to show a direct nexus from the casino gambling receipts to the mob in Chicago.
The FBI came up with an audacious and risky scheme. Agent Emmett Michaels was sent undercover into the Stardust Casino to assume the role of a wealthy gambler.
No, it was a great job. They had no idea I was an agent, but rather a high roller, and they'd want to comp me to a room. They want to do this, do that.
The serial numbers of Michael's bills had all been recorded, and his unorthodox assignment was to lose thousands of taxpayer dollars. It was a big gamble in more ways than one. The FBI were betting that out of the millions of dollars gambled in the Stardust every week, some of the marked dollars would find their way into the mafia's Skim. But Michaels found it a tougher assignment than he'd anticipated.
My purpose was to get these bills into the drop box. But it seems every time I went to gamble and use government money, I would end up winning. And so if I was playing blackjack and I had 19 showing and the dealer had 12, I'd ask for a hit just so I'd have to lose, and they'd look at me like I was crazy.
This process went on for months until the FBI was certain that enough marked money had made its way into the Stardust's cash flow. The trap was set. On January the 3rd, 1982, the FBI was ready to strike.
We had decided that on this Sunday we would arrest Ponto and Tallarico when they met and passed the package. This day, instead of carrying the brown paper sack that he'd always carried, he was carrying a cardboard box.
A single marked note in the box would prove that the cash came from the Stardust and give the feds their first clear evidence against the mob.
When he finally met up with Tallarico, we were there to greet all of them.
Agents swooped on the two suspects. Neither man attempted to make a getaway. It was a big moment, the culmination of 18 months of surveillance. But the agents were in for a surprise.
We found in the box not the $300,000 in black cash Skim, but rather cookies and wine.
I was sick in the stomach because, I mean, you're talking working 12 hours a day shifts, 7 days a week, no time off, no holidays off.
The mob still had a lot of friends in Vegas. It seemed someone had tipped them off.
I remember Ponto and Tallarico laughing and yucking it up, thinking, ha ha, well, we've really beat them. Our case was blown. We had nothing after all those months of work. It was a bad day for the FBI.
The investigation had failed to catch the mob red-handed with money skimmed from the Stardust Casino. But the FBI weren't about to give up.
I just resolved that day that we would start a new investigation, an overt investigation, and let it lead wherever it might lead. So we had subpoenas issued for records from the Stardust.
Now the FBI took its hunt for evidence of the skim inside the casino. The Stardust was fronted by a legitimate corporation which produced regular audited accounts. Yet the mob was able to siphon off millions of dollars a month without any apparent irregularities in the books. If the feds could crack their fraudulent system, it would sound the death knell for the mob in Vegas. They had a hunch that a crucial piece of casino paperwork called a fill slip could prove to be the mafia's Achilles heel.
When a dealer has lost a significant number of chips to gamblers, they don't have enough on their table. They'll call for a fill.
A fill slip authorizes a fresh supply of gaming chips to a dealer who has lost money to gamblers. Each fill slip is like a check worth thousands of dollars.
Whatever is written on that fill slip is the amount that's taken out of the cage and gone to the table.
Agents realized that by creating fake fill slips, the mob could make it look like the casino was losing money. This could be the key to the skim. The phantom cash could be siphoned off while the books appeared to balance. Gaming rules required every fill slip to be signed by 4 separate employees, but the FBI suspected the mob simply forged the signatures. Agents seized thousands of the slips for analysis. It was a huge task.
Wow, that's, I don't know, there were 20,000, and we had to look at each one individually.
The agents pulled out hundreds of suspect slips and, along with sample signatures from more than 180 Stardust employees, sent them to the Bureau's handwriting experts in Washington. Now all they could do was wait and hope. By 1982, an FBI team had spent 3 years trying to expose the mafia's involvement in Las Vegas casinos. Now the Bureau was betting everything on one last